Hello and welcome to the Future of Customer Service podcast. Today we have Fabian Reinkemeier from Elaboratum, who is going to tell us a lot about intelligence for chatbots, interactions, and customer service. So Fabian, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Tell us about you, Fabian. What do you do at Elaboratum?
I work as a digital consultant there. So it's a specialized e-commerce consultancy firm called Elaboratum in Germany. And there I mainly deal with the topic of conversational user interfaces. So meaning chatbots and voice assistants. As we claim to work in an evidence-based way and always want to be up to date with the latest developments and findings, I'm also doing research on this exciting topic at the University of Göttingen.
Wow, that's amazing. So I like that idea of using science in the space of artificial intelligence and customer service, because there's a lot of hype around the space. So I have read about your work, and there's something that particularly intrigued me, which is the idea of behavioral bot design. What is that? What is behavioral bot design?
Yeah, perfect. Let's jump right into it. Behavioral bot design means for us to optimize chatbots and voice assistants with behavior patterns. At Elaboratum, we have a behavioral design unit to do this, also for websites. And this is a team of experts focused on applied behavioral economics in the digital world. But let's break it down. First of all, what is behavioral bot design? For us, it's important to understand what makes people tick when they make decisions. So our podcast listeners, everybody now, ask yourself, how do you think you make decisions? Rationally, intuitively, consciously, unconsciously? Yeah, I know most people will probably say rationally, but is that really the case? Sorry, I have bad news. We make our decisions unconsciously. Okay, now some of you might think that does not sound like me at all. That might be true for some people, like that one colleague that always decides so spontaneously, or that friend that uses always their gut feeling to make decisions, but not me. I'm a rational person. But trust me, I really have to disappoint you here at that point. I know you probably wish to be like Mr. Spock from Star Trek, meaning thinking rationally. But we all tick more like Pippi Longstocking. So we think intuitively, instinctively. But the good news on that is there's research.
Wow, so that's an interesting approach. So when designing artificial intelligence and bot conversations, is thinking about the audience not as a rational entity, but some sort of emotional organism, which is what we are, humans, right? So tell me, what is this theoretical perspective that you mentioned about this irrational or this subconscious behavior from humans when interacting with chatbots?
Yeah, so if we put on the theoretical perspective on this, the psychologist Daniel Kahneman, many may know him, has made groundbreaking findings on this topic and received a Nobel Prize for the theory. We humans, we have two different decision-making systems in our brain. We have the system 1, which is our intuitive, instinctive decision-making system. It's unconsciously fast, doesn't consume many resources. We can call it the autopilot. And then we have the system 2. This is a rational, logical thinking system. It works unconsciously, slowly, and consumes many resources. We can call it our internal computing machine.
All right.
Looking now at the split between these two systems, research shows that 95% of our decisions are actually made by our intuitive system 1. And only just like 5% of our decisions are made by system 2. Why is that? We are making so many decisions each day. As a consequence, we base our decisions on what are called behavior patterns. These are like psychological patterns that can be understood as templates or pathways to our actions. That's the theoretical point.
So to make sure I understand, we have these two systems, right? The rational system is actually the one that consumes more resources. Is that so? It makes sense for us to take decisions emotionally because they consume less resources. So it makes sense from economic or I'd say energetic point of view to take decisions, emotionally, and then those decisions that are more complicated, we do it rationally because those are going to consume more resources. That makes a lot of sense. But tell me, how does that anything to do with chatbots?
So we take this knowledge actually and this need of customers into account when designing chatbots. Like really from developing user persona to the selection of suited behavior patterns, it's always important to make the decision process as easy and intuitive as possible for the users, because it's 95% is intuitive thinking. And we actually did a study on that. We challenged like a non-optimized voice bot against an optimized voice bot with behavior pattern. It was a process of recommending books to user. And the guiding theme for us were like social factors. So we had this non-optimized bot, which was like really transactional, using only minimal vocabulary. Actually getting the transaction really done as quickly as possible. And then we had the optimized bot, on the other hand, which we implemented behavior patterns, which had like an extensive personality and a more personal style of speaking. It like pause such as like a normal human being would do before answering. And we had great results on that actually.
Wow. So you if I understand correctly, you say, okay, this is your chatbot, but is not optimized from a behavioral design perspective. So let's optimize it. Let's take that bot and let's optimize it in the sense that let's make it ready for our audience, which will take irrational decisions, or let's put it intuitive decisions, like to say. That's fascinating. And what are the advantages? Why is that a good thing?
So after all, it improves the quality of the dialogues and the user experience. And we really want to achieve like a natural conversation. Like language is the most natural way of interacting. And we have this chance with the conversational user interfaces. So we take that and we build an intuitive way for the customer. And for example, in the study with the voice bot, we had great results. So the experience showed like it was 80% higher purchase intention rate, and I think it was like around 40% higher user satisfaction for the optimized bot. And we applied that now many times, and we see it's working. And we knew that before from optimizing websites, and then we use this method to like optimize chatbots. And it's not only about the technical part, also about the design.
I get it. This is when you have this aha moment, right? This is okay. The same idea that it's been applied now for decades on designing user interfaces and user experience is the same idea, but applied to conversations, having conversations with a behavioral design. And that you said again, 80% increase in purchase desire, right, on purchase,
Exactly.
because very often purchase decisions are, intuitive, or let's call it irrational sometimes. That's amazing and really fascinating. So could you tell us a little bit more, or maybe some ideas or patterns, or some of the points that are part of this behavioral bot design?
Yeah, as there are so many great patterns, my colleague Philip Square, he even wrote a book about it with 170 patterns. It's already the second edition now.
That's a lot of
And
them. Okay, could you tell us three?
Yeah, okay. I will give you
patterns that we should always remember.
Yeah, I will give you an example, actually from a real world example of a customer. I will just give you a bit of background, because behavior patterns, they are not like applicable to every chatbot. You always have to consider what's your target group, what's the use case. So we had the opportunity to create a chatbot for a backpack manufacturer in Germany. And the use case was to guide the users through the product finding process, just as an experienced salesperson would do in real life. And we analyzed the user behavior, we interviewed the sales staff, and we determined, again, as a guiding principle for the chatbot, the social fabric. And with this in mind, we began the design process. We gave the bot a cheerful appearance with an outdoor background, triggering two behavioral patterns. Firstly, we implemented the behavior pattern called liking, which describes that we tend to have more trust in people and processes when we find them likable and friendly. Consequently, we started the conversation flow with happy waving chatbot, and the statement was, great that I can help you today. And by doing so, we set the tone for the entire communication. And yeah, they are really working towards the same goal. So the first one is liking. The second pattern is the picture superiority effect. This describes how we remember things much more easily when we see a combination of text and image. So by giving the bot a relatable character, people are not only much more likely to remember it, but are also coming back or even recommend to others. That's the second one. So second one is picture superiority effect. And the third one I would point out is the primacy effect, because it's actually applicable for every chatbot. It means that the first information sticks to our memory. We all heard the saying, the first impression counts. And that not only applies for first dates or meeting the in-laws, but also for the first contact with chatbot. So in our case, we not only we didn't just set the tone with a cheerful greeting and a shared goal, but also the fact that the bot's advice is based on 100 plus years of sales expertise, which, by the way, also reinforce the bot's authority. So the third pattern you always have to remember is the primacy effect. It's really important for all cases.
Okay, that's amazing. So these three specific takeaways here, but also one of them is image. So and I believe that's something that's been around for a while, or the idea of avatar, and chatbots should avatars, and sometimes our customers say, hey, should we use an avatar? And now I'm always, I don't know. But now you have here some data and a scientific way to say, well, actually, it is important. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but it's really the combination of it, the combination of having text and reinforcing the things you want to say. You
with
can
consistency. You have to be a consistent language with the image, with having all these patterns that create that emotional connection. Let's say.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Listen, and we were at Inventa, right? We work with artificial intelligence, and because we do, we know it is not Perfect. So sometimes you're going to ask a chatbot and the chatbot might not have an answer for your question, or the chatbot might not quite understand the question. So what happens when the chat fails? What would be the best course of action when you have your chatbot not actually being able to answer a question?
So yeah, if you look at the market, actually, there's one common strategy. It's just saying, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you, or please try again. That's actually all.
That's what you will see most of the time. I didn't get that. Try with less words, maybe, or something. That's kind of yeah. That's what you will see in many chatbots today.
Yeah, and you actually these messages they cause frustration because they do not help the customer understand why the chatbot failed, and more importantly, how they can repair the strategy, repair the situation. So we see this common problem with technologies. Many chatbots are like developed from the technical perspective. They don't sufficiently integrate anthropomorphic design, like a more intuitive design, which is the key to customer-centric success. Again, we can look actually at the human-to-human communication. You won't see these kind of messages. For example, Jordi, if I tell you, we have to meet Laura, and you didn't catch the name or what I said, what would you say to me?
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that's actually really specific. But actually, in the first thing, you were like, huh? And
yeah,
that's sometimes the first thing, like humans are doing, like, huh? What were you talking? And then if I tell you the same, you would like upgrade your strategy. That's the like repair strategy. You would repair the situation. So you would say, who are we going to meet? And I, as a speaker, will rephrase myself as well. I will maybe just say Laura or like a totally different sentence. So what we can learn from conversations from human to human, conversations are not as simply. So you shouldn't just say, huh, repeat the same, huh, again, which is the chatbot saying. So yeah, I know some chatbots are like after 2 or 3 fails, they give it away to a different channel. But that's not a strategy, really. Like you should try to have a change, actually. So it's possible, and we know it from research, that you can have like behavioral changes when you interact with chatbots. So our goal is always to develop like constructive, user-friendly failure messages for chatbots and build an optimal chatbot repair strategy.
Oh, that makes sense. I like this idea of a repair strategy, right? It's like something has been damaged, and then, in the sense that there is a miscommunication, obviously, with a chatbot. So having something has been damaged, right? And then repairing it's absolutely important. That's all right. Let's shift the topic a little bit and just talk about Inventa, because I believe that you guys know us a little bit. We're working together. So what is your experience working with Inventa, and what kind of results did you get? And do you think that someone that kind of can be programmed or configured or make it kind of aware of this behavioral bot design?
So yeah, first of all, if you are active in the field of chatbot, you are familiar with Inventa, at least, because it's one of the big players. So we know Inventa, we also know other technologies, and which is great for us because we always can see what's the advantages and disadvantages. But it gives us a perspective, like, yeah, I would say everyone should know Inventa if you know, or if you want to build a chatbot. And actually, was a good customer of ours, a leading insurance company in Germany. We have already created several chatbots with Inventa in the last 2 years with great results.
Nice, nice. All right, thank you. So, we have a customer in common, right? And that's great because that kind of a network is amazing, right? We kind of meet customers that introduce to great companies and teams like you guys that have thought a lot about the conversational AI and how make it work. So that's amazing. And listen, Fabian, what do you think is the future about this conversational AI? Where are we going with all that? What do you think?
I believe that the decade of conversation is beginning. We are now moving more and more from like omni-channel to conversational commerce. And this is good because conversational commerce offers unique opportunities, such as like to order products online and really an intuitive dialogue. From an evolutionary perspective, it's more natural. And maybe it's only like Elon Musk would say the perfect interface is to communicate only with our thoughts. His idea still seems a long way off. And we see actually with recent advancement in AI, like natural human-computer interaction is now possible. It gives us the interaction to move away from just exclusively unnatural graphical user interfaces and more to like we can take the customer by hand, support them in an intuitive natural language dialogue and give him a better customer experience, which is all about, and at the end, have higher conversion rates.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that the way humans have been interacting with one another is through conversation, and it's been like that apparently for hundreds of thousands of years, right? So it's exactly. For us is the most natural way to interact is through natural language, which is English, German, Spanish, whatever, and conversation. So if we could make computers efficient, then I believe this behavioral bot design concept is a great step towards that target that would make a lot of sense. So Fabian, what would be the main takeaways here for our audience? What would you tell them when it comes to their design of chatbots? What do you think they should do on about that?
Okay, I will give you 3 takeaways.
Awesome.
So first, always think about how do your customer think. So please remember that technology is great, but you also need to focus on the customer needs and understand how they think and act. And 95% of our decisions are intuitive. Don't forget the PPLM stocking and embrace the customer way of thinking. The second one is think about your design. Don't just look at these projects from the technical perspective. Like when building a truly customer-centric, natural conversational bot, a good solution is to use behavioral bot design. And also think about your chatbot repair strategy when a failure occurs. And thirdly, always remember what's your use case. So choose your use case, maybe the AI wisely, ask your customers and also your employees, if you introduce like chatbots for internal goals, what they actually need.
Totally. Yeah. That makes sense. That's 3 great takeaways for our audience, and I think they will appreciate it, and I really appreciate that. All right, Fabian, that's been a great discovery here today with you. What I would ask is if our audience wants to learn more and wants to contact you, what is the best way to reach you?
So yeah, definitely everyone, if you want to have a deep dive to a specific topic, have just a chat about a certain problem, get in touch with me, connect on LinkedIn or write me an email, Google my name. But yeah, the easiest way is simply connect on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to meet you.
Awesome, totally. And as we are recording this video, and we're gonna put that podcast also in our website. We're gonna put this like here below. This video is going to be a transcript of that, and they will have all your contact details. All right, Fabian, thank you so much. It's been an exciting episode of the Future of Customer Service podcast. I really appreciate having you with us. And for the audience, we're going to work hard to have really smart people around talking about customer service, AI, automation, and many other topics. Thank you so much, Fabian.
Thanks, Jordi.
Take care. Bye.